Spotting the Surge. Welcome to the Mental Performance Playbook, where we are breaking down elite mental strategies and breaking them into actionable exercises, or as you can see from here sharing this board, how mental exercises become top athlete habits. That's the theme for this week, and our exercise is Spot the Surge. If you are new here, my name is Gabe Rummel. I'm the founder of The Athlete's Health, TAH, creator of this mental performance playbook, where we are a mental gym. We're training the mental game, adding it to our sports, our athletics, our life, and improving our performance. That's right, in sports for life. Now, this episode is where we are finally breaking out this Miro board. We are sharing the screen a lot more in this. We're hitting YouTube hard, making this YouTube worthy and not just Spotify and Apple podcast style where it's just me talking to the camera. We are now walking through. You can see this flow chart. You can see all these sticky notes on the board where we are, like I said, looking at how mental exercises become top athlete habits. And we are doing this with spotting the surge as our exercise. So let's get into it. First off, number one, we are talking about TAH mental exercises. That's what we do here. We have these exercises, turn them into our exercise, or turn them into our habits. We create them. And I want us to make sure we start with a recent sad news of Iowa State versus Arizona. Yes, I'm talking about March Madness, and March reveals what has been trained. If you do not know what was happening here, this was in the semifinal round of the Big 12 tournament, and it went down to the final buzzer beater shot, and it was not Iowa State. Talk about heartbreaking. I sat on my couch for probably 30 minutes after this. But the thing is, March reveals what has been trained, but both of these teams were shooting it tremendously well. Both teams competed their hearts out, and both teams have talent. In my eyes, that should have been the championship match, but it is what it is. See, they were trading 3 for 3, nailing threes. Star players, Milan Momcilovic, Arizona had some highlight reels themselves, shooting crazy shots, and ultimately pressure kept on rising. And the pressure rose till, we're going to get overtime. We're going to get overtime. This is going to be awesome. But no, Arizona's Bradley dribbles down. Great defense, but he still hits the fadeaway long 2-point shot as the buzzer goes off. He actually releases it with 0.1 seconds left on the clock. See, the pressure rose in that game, and both teams had habits and routines that showed up. Both players individually on both teams had them show up. See, the pressure does not just create the habits in the matches, in the games, it reveals them. Reason I use this as a story is because as this upcoming week and the bracket in March Madness begins, I have a feeling we're going to see these two teams go down to the wire. They're going to make it far in the tournament. That comes up to our second point here, the real problem that we are looking at. See, this is great. That's a great story. I love this, but how do we get athletes to actually do it, to actually have the habits start to build? Well, that's exactly the point. They're going to hear the advice, or they're going to get talked to, but few are actually going to train it enough for these habits, these exercises to show up naturally. And that is where our gap is. That is why we are here. That's why mental training in other circumstances fails. Because it's staying as talk, it's staying as writing, no emotional change, no physical change. It's like that classroom setting. They're just walking through it. So let's look at number 3. Let's look at why we call them exercise, why this is a mental gym. While TAH, we are titans. We are the top of the top in that Greek empire, why we call it the phronoic gym. See, these exercises We can rep out exercises just like in a weight room. You can rep out the exercise, and now you're going to get better at squatting, or you're going to get better at benching, or whatever sport we're talking about. You're going to get better at it by doing more of it. That's why these are exercises, because if it is not repeated, it is not going to get stronger. Oops. But once it does get stronger, and once we have more faith in it and we believe in it more because we are seeing it, we're going to see it show up faster. This is going to go hand in hand. It's going to get stronger because we're actually going to use these as exercises, and it's going to show up faster. So hang with me here, because if it shows up faster, then that performance is going to change. And when that performance change, we are not just teaching thoughts now, but we are actually building responses. We are building the presets. We are building that vision, building as in strengthening it, as making more connections, as putting this as a part of what we are doing. So if this is our ultimate goal, walking through this, then we got to move on to our fourth piece. And this is our reps, routines, results. See, these are our implementation that we take when we're speaking at different events. We are walking people through this. So this is why I wanted to bring it in here. It's going to start with the reps. It's going to start with what we're doing, and we're going to do it again and again. See, that's the practices after mistakes. It's practicing it in training. It's practicing before pressure hits. We're putting it into the routines, building it into those real moments. So now we're getting into those moments, whether it's during timeouts when we have time to think or not think, if it's free throws, if it's dead balls, if it's pregame, between reps, between PKs, between each swing at bat, we see the results. Now, these are results in two ways. It's the results of what is actually happening in your game, in your sport. And it's the results also of what your athlete, is doing under pressure, whether that's a faster reset, whether that's better focus, whether that's better body language and how we're responding, more composure overall. But when we have that, we have it repeated. We have it become natural. We have it be something that we are not thinking anymore. Once again, why? Because these are exercises. These are not just talks. These are not just thoughts. These are exercises that are in our reps, that we put in routines, and that we get results from. We can rep them out. So let's look at one. We got to cover one here. And this is one that we're covering in March here for the March Madness, for the transition of sports. See, we're probably moving from one spot to another, probably from a court, from a mat, to either running, to outside, some way, shape, or form. There's not too many indoor sports going on right now. It might be golf, it might be track, it might be soccer. If we're in the Iowa high school setting, those are a lot of what we have. We have baseball and softball starting now too for the younger and travel team. We have basketball that's staying inside for that AAU season. This is spotting the surge. This is seeing that next step. This is making it happen. You see, we have an old picture that's going on in our head. And oftentimes, and I've seen this with so many athletes that we work with and teams that we talk to and train up, that somewhere in there is an old picture. And this picture, we need to turn that to a new picture. We need to switch this up. See, the picture could be missing a shot. It could be turning the ball over. It could be making a bad call or having a bad call happen. It's this mistake replay that our brain, our thoughts, and then our body is going to just keep playing over and over and over again. Tell me this, how can we have a surge if that is happening, if it's just going to keep playing over and over and over again? So what we want to do is choose the next visual on purpose. This is where we're going to get a little more murky here, because I'm going to walk through some examples. I'm going to act like what we give to coaches, or we give to the ADs, or we give to the parents or the athletes to implement, right? If it's that cascade, those first three that I named of coach, AD, parent, to then help their athlete, or straight to the athlete when we work with them. We want to choose that next visual. That's right. I'm looking at my bookshelf over there, and now that is what I'm focusing on. And all of a sudden, I'm not necessarily thinking as much about this episode that we're recording right now, because I'm locked in at that bookshelf. And that is, boom, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm seeing. But I could train that. I could train that. If we're in a room, it's all white walls and there's one black dot, that's going to get our focus. That's going to be what we see. That is choosing, that is having the next visual on purpose. So for some instances, it can be a scoreboard, it can be the clipboard in a timeout, and you can watch that pen being written down. It can be your shoe, it can be the rim, it can be the next assignment, the next match that you have, it can be the next shot going in. And you can actually paint that like a visual in your head. But this is something that we can train. This is an exercise. This is a mental exercise, because hopefully you can see that we can make this. We can get reps with this. We can do reps with it. We can put it into routines. We can put it in at practice for then the game or the meet or the match. And now all of a sudden, it's not just something that we're talking about here. Seriously, stand up, think about this. Put yourself in the blocks right now. Put yourself dribbling the ball really quickly. Put yourself in there swinging the bat, the club. What is going to be that spot that is going to surge your performance? I know it sounds simple, but that does not mean that it's weak. This is what I hear sometimes. Like, is this really going to work? Is that what it is? The simplicity means it is trainable. And that is what you are going to do right now, or you're going to talk to your athlete about, or you can send them on over our way. Quick plug, TAH, the Athlete's Health, check us out for our free mental training sessions. Sign up for it. Sign up for our newsletter, or get us into your organization with your team. We love to work with you so we can not only train it, but we can track it too, because that's what we do. We make the invisible visible. So check us out, links below, but schedule a free mental training session with us. We'd love to get it on. Give us a contact, give us reach out, and we would love to stay in touch to see how we can customize this exercise, maybe even for you in your specific instances. And no, this does not mean that something's wrong and something's up. This means that you are trying to get from, maybe you are already in that top 10%, or you're in that top 5%. And now you're just trying to get that 1-2% better. That's going to get you that next edge on your competition. So spot the surge. Please, please, please find that focus point. See it, spot it, and have that surge you into the next play. So we're not thinking about all those negative, those bad thoughts, right? That old bad picture, that missed shot, the turnover, bad call. You're not replaying that mistake, but you're moving into that new picture. And the ultimate goal here, our sixth piece, our last piece, what we actually want this to do is we do not just want to help the athletes hear it. We want the athlete, your athlete, or if you're the athlete listening, we want you to live this, embody it, rep it, train this exercise. Please, please, please train this exercise. Repeat the exercise. Put it in your routines. Build it in there and let it become that habit. Because if it's right back to what we were talking about at the start, these mental exercises are habits. To spot the surge can turn into your habit. You might even name it something else, but then you're not going to think about it. You're just going to do it. This is a quick little CTA of, if you want help building this in, reach out. We would love to help out. But ultimately next week, and I'm just giving this plug here, stay with me just till the end for one more second. We're going to look at these habits, these exercises, how they tie into the identity and the secret with that to connect, to bring our athletes to that whole next level. This is going to be insane because we talk about athlete identity so much. Sometimes people say, oh, we want to move that identity into other things besides the athlete. Other people say, oh, I don't even know what to do with this. Or they say, oh, I want them to think more like it. This is going to be a fun episode, but it ties into everything that we were covering today of mental exercises becoming top athlete habits. TAH. We're spotting the surge with this one, whether it's training the exercises, ISU and Arizona, both working on this, having those habits instilled, finding that problem of what is actually being trained or talked about and why we're calling them exercises, put them into your routines, your reps, your results, spot that surge and elevate your performance. Like I said, check us out for more training, more exercises. Share this if you found it interesting. Share it with someone who should be watching, listening in. Otherwise, like it on YouTube, give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple, and we will catch you next week on the Mental Performance Playbook. Check us out for our guest episodes as well. We have more of those rolling out. My name is Gabe, and I will catch you next week. Peace.